Hello, I'm Don Tapscot, and I'm the co-author of the book Blockchain Revolution. I'm also the co-founder of the Blockchain Research Institute, which is conducting a series of 70 projects into the strategic impact of this extraordinary new technology. And I'm delighted to be able to address the Oman Blockchain Symposium. And in fact, I wish I were there with you. I looked at the terrific agenda that you have and also the wonderful set of cultural and social activities, a tour of the souk, a trip to the Royal Opera, a yacht excursion, gala dinners and so on. It looks not only informative but like a lot of fun. But I did want to say a couple of words about the importance of this event and the importance of this technology. The internet is entering a second era. For the first 40 years, we've had an internet of information where we send and communicate information. But now we're seeing the rise of an internet of value, where anything of value from money to stocks, bonds, loyalty points, intellectual property, carbon credits, our identities, art, music, even votes can be managed, stored, transacted in a private and secure way, and where trust is not achieved by a powerful intermediary necessarily. It's achieved by cryptography, by collaboration, and by some clever code. This is the first time in human history where people everywhere can trust each other peer to peer, which is why my son Alex, who's the co-author of Blockchain Revolution, and I refer to this as the trust protocol. This is the first native digital medium for trust. And the impact of this technology will be extraordinary. This is like 1994 all over again, only I think that this one is even bigger. And for sure, it's the biggest innovation in computer science in a generation. Consider the impact on the corporation. Throughout the industrial age, really, we've had vertically integrated companies that did everything inside the boundaries of the corporation. And the Nobel Prize-winning economist Ronald Coase explained why. That we don't have people working in an open market. We have people inside the boundaries of firm because the cost of transactions in an open market was prohibitive. And he identified four costs. The cost of search, of finding all the right people and assets and money in an open market. That would be prohibitive, bring it inside the boundaries of a firm. The cost of coordination, of getting all these people who've never met each other to work together. That wouldn't work. The cost of contracting, every little activity in the economy or a separate contract, well, that would be prohibitive. And overall, the cost of establishing trust. So, blockchain is beginning to devastate these transaction costs. Consider the costs of contracting. We now have smart contracts on blockchain, just like what it sounds like. It's a contract that self-executes, kind of like a contract that in software has a lawyer and a bank and a government as part of the software. And that will drop contracting costs significantly. Consider the costs of search, say of finding all the right money to do something. Well, we now have ICOs, initial coin offerings, which are basically crowdfunding on a blockchain. And these ICOs have raised this year more money in this space, almost $3 billion, than all venture capital. Now, this is not to say that there aren't challenges. Many of these ICOs are for companies that will fail, but 1 out of 10 traditional venture capital companies ever actually succeeds as well. And as an aside, some governments have thought about trying to restrict these ICOs or even to ban them. And we need to be very, very careful about the role of regulation. For sure, if the token being raised is an equity token representing a share in a company, that's a security. And it should fall under securities legislation in any country. But if it's a token representing a utility, something like a piece of software or a carbon credit or a loyalty point or a new kind of currency, then that shouldn't fall outside the boundaries of security legislation. So, sensibly approached, this is a wonderful new technique for helping build an innovation economy, as we all need to do. We all need to move away from traditional resource and industrial type economies to an economy based on entrepreneurship, innovation, and knowledge. And this new form of funding can help with that. So overall, we're in the early days of some very profound changes to the deep structure and architecture of the firm, and of how we orchestrate capability in society to innovate, to create goods and services, to engage with the rest of the world. And this is resulting in dozens of amazing new business models. Think about blockchain cooperatives, where essentially the functionality of a company like Uber or Airbnb can be replaced by a distributed application and some smart contracts and autonomous agents on a blockchain, enabling the owners of rooms and couches and apartments to be a cooperative where they receive all of the wealth that they create. Think about the Internet of Things, billions and trillions of inert objects in our world that become smart communicating devices. All of these devices will be doing transactions on a blockchain. The Internet of Things needs a ledger of things, and we'll see the rise of machine languages and also machine currencies where machines are conducting transactions. Consider the supply chain. The biggest supply chains in the world, Walmart, Foxconn, and so on, are moving towards this new technology because it's so powerful to understand the provenance of something, where you can look at goods moving through a supply chain and know their exact status because you're all looking at a shared ledger. Consider the impact on the financial services industry. You know, you tap your card in a coffee shop, and 3 days later a clearing and settlement occurs. Well, with blockchain there would be no clearing and settlement because the payment and the settlement is the same activity. It's just a change in the ledger. This will also bring about huge changes in government as well, as we can now build high-performance governments. So those are just a handful of opportunities that we're investigating in the Blockchain Research Institute. So let me close by saying, ultimately, this really comes down to leadership. It's finding the leadership to make this happen in your company, in your government, in your country. Because this is a new paradigm, and new paradigms are often received with coolness, and vested interests fight against change, and leaders of old paradigms can have difficulty embracing the new. So it's up to each of us to find that leader within us to make this happen. I hope that you'll consider working with us at the Blockchain Research Institute. The organization is funded by companies and governments from different parts of the world. And I'd love to collaborate with you. If you want to know more, just go to blockchainresearchinstitute.org and send me a note. Again, congratulations on the Oman Blockchain Symposium, and I hope you have a very productive time. Thanks very much, and I look forward to talking to you.